Hello everybody and welcome to a quickish video. Just depends on how many parts and all that kind of stuff. Not quite sure how long it'll be, but basically what I will be showing you guys is how I've been doing all the weathering and stuff that I've been doing, that I'm going to be doing for the full armor Gundam from Gundam Thunderbolt. Now, the first step is to always remove the piece and make sure that it's all cleaned up and everything. So it'll look like this. Or I'll probably use one of these long booster pieces here. They have a couple of things on them. Now, usually one of the very first things that I always do is make sure it's panel lined and everything. And then I will go ahead and do the decals on it. Now, the supplies that you'll need, or at least I highly recommend, is the microsol and a micro set. Micro set is the first one. I always write down which number it is, because sometimes I get confused, and this will last a long time. Like, this is only 1 fluid ounce. Don't know how much it was off the top of my head, but it's worth it. Unless you want results like the Sazabi shoulder that I'll show right now. Okay, so sorry about the weird audio quality here, but you can see that damage on the decal is all because of using the nail polish. And then the rest of him, he's top coated. Pretty dusty right now, but yeah. And that's the Perfect Red Wing Gundam, if you don't know what that one is. And my double reser's upstairs right now, so I can't show you that one. So yeah, back to future me. So as you can see, that was due to my inexperience and me deciding that after I did the new and the high new Gundams that I should be able to just put nail polish over it. Don't do that. It destroys it. As you saw right there, it just destroys them. So always use microsol or microset, or Mr. Hobby, Mr. Merc Softer, or Merc Setter, I think it is. Yes, this one's for my second one, so this is the step number 2, if you need to do it. And I say if because I did a lot of my perfect grade Banshee Unicorn with these two, with the microset and microsol. I was using a lot of microsol as I was doing like 3 coats of it, when only I needed to do like 1 or 2 coats on the really big stickers, like on the on big decals, like on the shield and stuff. But mostly I used microset, and it only went down to about there, and then I spilled a bunch of it by accident. Which, if that happens, turn on a fan in the area, as it does have some fumes, but I use them so in such little amounts that it doesn't really affect me at all. And I also recommend getting a reverse pair of tweezers. This is a reverse, where if I push down, it opens up, but it holds itself closed. These are very handy compared to these ones here, where it's just the amount of pressure you put on it is the amount of pressure you get. So these are extremely handy. I always recommend a hobby knife. A hobby knife or wood carver's knife, whichever one you prefer. Let me find it here. There we go. Wood carver's knife. As this one, the bottom screws off. And this one came with a ton of different blades. So that's just one of the blades it came with. And I like this one because it has a very thick base to it, like handle on it, compared to this tiny little thing. So even though I use this one for decals, this one for everything else. And I would say semi-optional, semi-recommended is a top coat of some sort, either flat, semi-gloss, gloss, whatever. If you really want to go all out with it, go with a gloss first, and then do the decal, and then either flat coat it or something like that. And I will also be doing this for pretty well nothing. The only thing I use to weather up my kit, I've used to weather up my kit, is a hobby knife, a pencil. Like this is just a normal pencil, as you can see, just a normal wooden pencil, and a Q-tip. This isn't the one that I've been using a lot. Where's my good one? Once it comes time to actually show you about it, I will actually find my really good one. Actually, here it is right here. As you can see, it is just, this started out like this before. So, and this is more of what you want to actually, because this won't remove a lot of it. This will remove some and get away and get some of the streaking away, which is really nice. So of course, the first step out of everything is to also have a decal sheet. As you can see, this is the water slide decals for this Gundam. I forget, the Gundam Thunderbolt full armor Gundam from the series Gundam Thunderbolt. There we go. Just gonna look at the instructions quickly here. Just give me about 2 seconds. Let me look at the detail. Oh, well, they're all the same. Okay, well, that makes stuff a lot easier for me. So basically what I am going to do now, oh, and you'll also need, as we're doing water slide decals, you'll need water. It's just plain old water. I keep that container down here all the time. And you'll need a couple brushes for the microsol and microset. These are my 2 brushes. Microset I use with this small brush, and the sol I use this massive brush for. It's the 2 brushes that I had on hand when I originally started, and they haven't really been needed since. So the first step is always to look at your instruction manual. This is near the back end. So this is going to be this piece here. So we'll need number 115, I want to say. Yes, that's correct. Now the key things to look for in your instruction manual is the orientation. So I see that you can read the Earth Federation Space Force. And the numbers. So 115, you'll go over to your decal sheet. And I'll cut it out here quickly. I'm making sure not to cut any other ones by accident. And I also don't want that number plate as either. That number, you'll see a whole bunch of numbers on the sheet. They're actually removable. And being careful not to cut any other piece. Now at this point, this is where I will say, this is how I do decals. It's not the be all end all. It's not everybody has to do it the same way. Everybody has their own way. Saying that, there are a couple of things you need to realize. Here's the decal itself. So all the blue here is actually glue that's in a basically solid state right now until you add water. You can see the outline of the decal there. Basically, all you're trying to do at first is to get it wet. Slide it onto the part and then make sure it stays on there. So I'm going to take my reverse tweezers and hold it in an area where not much Like there's nothing down here that when I take it off, it won't get caught on it or anything like that. I'm going to count to 10. I'm going to put it in the water and count to 10. Take it out and leave it off to the side for a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I give it just one little tap. Now I also have a piece of paper towel just to catch any drips or anything like that. Now during this time, this is a great time where you can get out another decal, get all that kind of stuff all ready to go. And then at this point, really. Oh, and I also recommend having a toothpick. These ones are really nice because they're really nice and sharp. So, judging, this is the area here where we will essentially want the decal. But I usually pretty well put it in this general area first. I first want to get it down. I can move it around a little bit before we stick it on completely. Now it's about time. Go with the micro set first. Micro set is always first. You don't need a whole lot of it. This is actually my first decal for today, so. And be careful where you put it, as you don't want to end up like me and end up with a lot of it gone by you knocking it over. So once you have a little bit on, like just a little puddle, I know it's going to be a little bit hard for you guys to see, but I do have a little puddle. I'm going to see if I can get it. You can kind of see it there. That puddle's going to be, yeah, I can add a little bit more. Just because it's a long decal. There we go. Now we're kind of on the time because you don't want to leave it for too long, because as you can see, it's not quite ready. So what I'll do in this case is just dunk it in, take it out, just get some more water on the top of the decal, and that'll help loosen it up a little bit more, because the micro set actually evaporates. I think it has some alcohol in it. It has something in it that really dries up quickly. So, as you can see, I'm just poking around at it and it's coming off already. So you don't really need to wait long. As I say, just get one decal out and cut out the next one. Now this might be a little bit terrible. I'm coming at it at a really, really, really bad angle. Oh, don't do that. And I usually have a little piece of it right on the edge. There. That's pretty well it. Next, we just gotta gently move it into position. Make sure it's all on the same area here. Really making sure that I get it right where I want it. Let me just make sure. Okay, so that's about where I'm gonna keep it. Now, in order to keep this position, I'll take a Q-tip or whatever you want. Just slowly roll over it all. That's just gonna get out any excess moisture and all the wrinkles and sorry about all this weird background noises here. If you can hear them, that is. As you can see, I'm just rolling over each part. Now I'm just going to take a quick peek to see a couple of little wrinkles. But there we go. That decal's pretty well on there now. Okay, now I need to just get ready for the next part, so I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back. Let me just get a little bit better lighting for you guys here. There we go. So, the next step is to actually weather this. So, the thing to think about is that there's going to be a thruster bell down here at this end. And this is going to be on the backpack. So let me just show you here. So as you can see, it's kind of away from everything else. There's the thrusters there. So this would get a little bit dinged up and everything from, if you don't know Gundam Thunderbolt, then it's basically an exploded colony with a whole bunch of electricity in the space and a lot of really nice jazz in it as well. So that's why they have all of this. Let me Just grab a little piece here. This is the basic armor here. All this to protect all the joints from getting all the debris and junk stuck in it. So basically what I'm imagining this Gundam to be is a Gundam that has been on a mission, a fairly recent mission, had to come back for some reason, probably to rearm itself actually, considering the other stuff I've been doing with this kit, and is going out for another round with just getting rearmed. So it still has all the damage and all that kind of stuff that it would have from before. Now, weathering is one of those things where it's really easy to not do enough, but it's even easier to do too much of it. You gotta find that fine balance between the two of them. Just moving the light out of my way a little bit here. It's a very fine balancing act that you would have to do. Now, I know that there's a whole bunch of other tips and stuff like that, like how to do, like, oh, what is it? Dry brushing. There's dry brushing. You can get these little kind of makeup kind of deals with it. You can do there's a whole bunch of different stuff out there. And you gotta remember, this is the very first kit I have ever done like this. So that's why I'm using a pencil. One simple reason, I'll show you here. Let me just make that pretty dark there. Yeah, I don't like that anymore. Now, of course, normally you would top coat it and all that kind of stuff. I'm just doing it on the bare plastic. You can barely see what I've done. And it erases like there's been nothing there. Now, one drawback, because I haven't top coated it. Ooh, if you notice here, this decal's actually starting to lift a little bit. I did not do that on purpose at all. It's actually lifting on both sides. So in a case like this, you have to use Microsol. You have to use Microsol, or else when you top coat it, that area will be a little bit wonky. Now, what Microsol does is basically dissolves the decal and adheres it straight to the plastic. So don't be too shy. But once you put it on there, just trust me, leave it. Because what it's doing is actually melting the decal. And basically just combining the plastic and the decal together. So that's going to take quite a bit. As you can see, this needs to be placed off to the side. And let me just double check about one thing. Which side does that one go on? That's what I really want to know right now. Wait, it doesn't matter. So one of them will go one way, one of them will go the other way. Okay. So, because of that, we'll have to change parts. Now, this is why I also do it in batches. Like I do the legs and waist unit together. I do the arms and torso and maybe shoulders together. Like I bunch it like that. So then if something like this happens, I have more parts I can use. So this is another similar white piece, not quite as big, but it will do. Now there'll be thrusters in this area up here and down here. There'll be a beam saber right in here. So pretty well, we just have to do the outside area of this. Okay. So just me thinking here. What I'm probably going to do is add a couple scratch marks in here. Maybe a couple over here, just from deflections or kind of areas where chunks have actually gone like this onto the thruster. Or like this onto the thruster. So maybe not many in here. And we might want to bring out a little bit of this kind of edge here a little bit. Dirty up these areas for sure. And in and around that a little bit. So that's kind of what I think is, how would a piece of debris hit this? Or what's around it? Like this is going to be thrusters, so it's going to be dirty from all the exhaust. This is going to be a moving part here, so it might just be a little bit off and scrapes a little bit every time it moves. So that's the kind of stuff I think about, is moving parts, thrusters, and what could be dirty around it, or what would be logical. Because like putting a big scratch mark right here, a really nice scratch mark right there, yeah, that is going to be covered up by about 3 or 4 pieces, so you're never going to be able to see that ever. So that's kind of the stuff I think about when I'm doing this. So for scratch marks, literally all that I do, I know this is going to be about the weirdest thing, but I literally take one of my hobby knives and just make a couple little scratches of varying depths. Just around areas where I think that there might be a little bit in different angles as well. That's pretty well all. Next, as I say, this is a normal pencil. This is as normal of a pencil as you can get. And I literally just shade in those areas that I scratched up first. You can see now. And I use the light as basically to show me where I've scratched it. And also I have found the lighter that you do it, the more it'll look like dirt. The harder you do it, the more it'll look like kind of soot kind of deal. And for edges, all that you literally have to do is just run it along the edge. And you see, that's probably about where I'd stop. As you can see, it looks like a pencil. Now I'll take this and actually go over all those areas that I went over with the pencil. All of them, even along the edge. And the more you rub in an area, the more it comes off. But it just blends it. It makes it look more dirty. Then like someone took a pencil to it. You see? And then after this, you would actually top coat it, which I have a video of my spray booth somewhere. I know I do. I have a homemade spray booth. Not a very fancy one, but it works nevertheless. So, and that is actually pretty well all that I do for these kits. Well, for this kit at least. My unicorn, my final farewell. That's what I've already named it. I know. I actually have a Master Grade Gundam Unicorn with MS stand behind me. I haven't even really touched it all that much. It's continually going through my mind. But on that one, I'm hoping to do a couple things on it that I do not know if I can do them or not yet. So I'll just have to wait and see. And this Saturday is the final episode of the Let's Build the Perfect Grade Strike Rogue, or Rouge, however you say it. It's the pink strike. Here, I'll show you. It's right beside me here. That one right there. It'll be the final episode of that one, so that'll be the put together episode. of that. So that'll be all up there. So afterwards, I need your help in deciding on if I should do the real grade 00 riser or the real grade wing 0 EW custom. Now this is the one with the angel wings on it. You can see there the angel wings. So, and it's also the perfect grade that actually gave me the most difficulty, and I do not like it. I'm giving it another chance. So, now we'll be doing a full build, kind of like this, only with the little parts. Now, when I say small, I mean, small. Like, those are, like, that's like in ½ inch or so, if that. So, but highly detailed, whole bunch of different colors on it, really fun builds. If you haven't built a real grade before, I'll show you why they are so amazing. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 built, 3 in the wings right now. No pun intended there. 5. And just as a cross promotion here, don't forget to check out my unicorn real grade final build of that. That guy's built like a tank even in unicorn mode, I have to say that. And how lucky I got with that. So to hear about that story, go check out that video. And I will see you on Saturday. So thank you everyone for watching, and until next time, remember to rock on.